The Snake and the Wise Sparrow. Once upon a time, in a peaceful forest, lived a snake named Goblin. Goblin was a sleek and clever serpent with shiny green scales that blended perfectly with the surroundings. He could slither silently through the grass, making him nearly invisible to anyone nearby. Although Goblin was admired for his stealth and agility, he was also known to be a little too proud of his abilities. He believed that because he was fast and quiet, he could outsmart any animal in the forest. One day, as Goblin was slithering through the forest, he encountered a wise old sparrow perched on a tree. The sparrow was well known among the animals for his wisdom and fair judgment. Goblin, feeling proud, approached the sparrow and said, "You know, Sparrow, I am the smartest and most skilled animal in this forest. I can move faster than anyone, and no one can catch me. I think I could outsmart all the animals in this forest, even you." The sparrow looked at Goblin with calm eyes and replied, "Is that so, Goblin? Well, speed and skill are important, but there is something even more powerful than those traits, wisdom." Goblin, who was used to boasting about his abilities, chuckled and said, "Wisdom? What good is wisdom when speed can get you anywhere? I'm sure I could easily outrun you, Sparrow, or any animal in this forest." The sparrow smiled kindly and said, "I don't doubt your speed, Goblin. But let me tell you a little story." Goblin, curious, listened carefully as the sparrow continued. Once, there was a fast and strong lion who ruled over the jungle. He believed that his strength made him the most powerful, just like you believe your speed makes you the smartest. But one day, a tiny rabbit outwitted the lion by thinking carefully and using his cleverness to escape danger. The lion, despite his strength, was outsmarted by the rabbit because he failed to use wisdom. Goblin raised an eyebrow. "What does that have to do with me?" The sparrow continued, "Just like the lion, you are proud of your speed, but sometimes, it's not speed that wins the day, it's the ability to think, observe, and make wise decisions. In this forest, I might be small, but I have learned the importance of looking at the bigger picture." Goblin thought about the sparrow's words but dismissed them, thinking to himself, "How could a tiny sparrow know more than me?" He was sure that speed was the answer to everything. The next day, as Goblin was hunting for food, he saw a large, juicy bird sitting on a branch. He knew this bird was slower than him, so he thought, "This is an easy catch." He quietly slithered closer, preparing to strike. But just as he was about to pounce, he heard a voice in the wind. It was the sparrow, who had been watching from a nearby tree. "Goblin, be careful. There's a hunter nearby, waiting to trap you." Goblin didn't listen and moved forward. But as he lunged for the bird, he was caught in a net laid by the hunter, who had been quietly observing him. Goblin struggled, but he couldn't free himself. "Help!" Goblin cried out, realizing that speed and skill alone wouldn't get him out of this one. The sparrow, hearing Goblin's cries, immediately swooped down and carefully untangled the net with his beak. It took him only a few minutes, and soon, Goblin was free. Goblin looked up at the sparrow, feeling embarrassed. "You were right, Sparrow. Speed alone didn't save me today. It was your wisdom that helped me escape. I should have listened to you." The sparrow nodded. "Remember, Goblin, wisdom is more important than speed. It's not always the fastest or the strongest who succeed, but the one who can think, observe, and act wisely in any situation." From that day on, Goblin stopped being so proud of his speed and learned to value the wisdom of others. He began to understand that each animal had its own unique strengths, and sometimes, the smartest thing to do was to ask for help and listen to those who had more experience. Moral of the story: wisdom is more powerful than speed or strength. Sometimes, the best way to succeed is to think carefully and use your mind, not just your abilities. Always remember, it's not enough to rely on what you're good at. Wise decisions often make the biggest difference.
Thank you very much.